Well, good morning, children. Welcome back to the Grandpa Coyote Medicine Show here in this year of 2017, don't you know? It's the last day of the year, and I'm here to send it on its way with a little pat on the fanny and a great big thank you for quite the education that we gained in this past year. Not just me, but all of us, don't you see? We've been like, wow, through the ringer and back again 3 or 4 times. Now, for those of you that don't know what through the ringer means, back in the day when I was a kid, and before everybody had automatic washing machines, we had Maytag washing machines. Some of them were gasoline powered, some of them were electric powered, some of them were hand powered, and that was the worst kind, as you really had to work at it. But they all had a big old tub on them where you'd wash your clothes out, and then you had a wringer on top, 2 big rollers. You put the clothes through, and that wrings all the water out of them, gets them ready to hang on the clothesline. But that old wringer you had to be careful of, because it could grab onto other parts of your person if you weren't paying attention. Kind of like what happened to me one time when I was like drilling on a nightstand or a milking stand I was building for my goats one time with a big old long drill, electric drill, and I wasn't paying attention. And next thing you know, I got my beard caught up in the doggone thing and nearly lost my face. Thank goodness I was able to shut it off quick enough and then get some help to get untangled from it. But similar things used to happen to people when they were like doing the laundry, and sometimes poor girls would get theirs in there. Sometimes guys would just be stupid playing around. Ah, major damage could occur. So that's what putting yourself through the ringers, putting yourself through the Maytag washer wringer, one way or another, man. And let me tell you, you're ready to be hung out and dried after that. It's a sad and sorry experience, but one that has many parallels in this life. For example, all the health challenges I'm going through now. It's amazing to me as the person that I am, and as much miraculous living as I've seen in my time, that I would wind up in such a position. But here I am. It just blows my jets. But I just take it as it comes and deal with it as I can. It's called going with the flow. And that's what we've done for most of 2017, and in fact, for a good share of all the lives we've been living. I know a lot of you have bucked up and tried to gain control or lose control or do this, do that, do the other. It don't seem to work too well now, does it? Just about the time you think you're getting it figured out, well, here comes that ringer again. Ooh, and you better keep your finger away from that ringer or you're going to be in big doo-doo. And there you go again, you see, back in the old hospital again, back going through it again. You're like, what the heck, Well, this year, last year I had a challenge with skin cancer, just came out of nowhere. And I really couldn't believe that either. But I finally had to believe it sufficiently to go get surgery and get it removed. And just in the nick of time, too, November of 2016. And I tell you, it was that close to taking me down. But instead, it brought me around. And then I got ahead of that. I started recovering from all of that. And then this other issue comes up, which, quite frankly, has pretty much wasted my whole body away. But yet, look at me. I mean, here I am in a hospital, recovering from double pneumonia. And I'm coming back from this cancerous stuff, too. It's in my bones now, all over the place. But there are therapies the doctors can give me that are going to help. And there's other therapies, of course, that come from outside sources that are helping, too. But I got to tell you, I have been really well treated down here in Taos, New Mexico, at the Holy Cross Hospital. Some of the best people you could ask for to ever come and take care of you. So if you ever got to have an emergency, this is a good place to have one. I tell you what, these people really care, and they do all they can to help bring you back, keep you in a good attitude, and so forth. Really reach out and embrace each and every one of you, and thank you for all your kind help and assistance here in this Holy Cross Hospital in Taos, New Mexico. And I just bless you, bless you, bless you. But it seems like here we are in the last day of this year, and I'm finishing up with the last of my maladies, which, I got to tell you the truth. A couple of weeks ago, I was laying here almost dead. Almost is the key word, because I didn't pass on. But, I was close, baby. And I wasn't going to let him revive me. But the angel says, okay, Grandpa, have it your way. We're bringing you back anyway. And so then I put out a little appeal for some help on the internet there on my Facebook, and everybody starts to pitch in. And next thing you know, I got hundreds and thousands of people pushing for me again. And there's no way I can lose this battle to health, to bad health. So it's not really even a battle anymore. It's more like getting in a progressive enough state that I can move beyond the need to harbor and habituate such energies in my person. Which means, I'm anticipating a full recovery as time goes by, no matter what comes my way. That I will, because I've faced that moment of dying again, that I will be living quite a number of years yet. I'm not looking for a real long life, but if we can just get it up to the point of planetary ascendancy, hey, I can die smiling or I can fly smiling. And if we get the ascendancy, guess what? Nobody has to die anymore. This is when Mother Earth and Father Sky take their proper positions. When this backwards, upside down world rightens itself, gets itself right side up. And I reckon that's going to happen between tonight and tomorrow, because it's a New Year's. It's a time of renewal. And yeah, I know that's only symbolic, but oddly enough, this year, the New Year hits just when the full moon hits. So we're actually getting off to a real kind of start. Though this may be the 13th month, maybe the 12th month. In an ideal situation, our calendar would have 13 months matching the moon cycles, ideally. And of course it doesn't, because others sought to disconnect us from our feelings of naturalness and have us re-engineer everything so they could control us in some ways. But even that kind of wishes, is kind of insane in and of itself. Because the heart is in control of life no matter whatever else seems to be going on. And this is how I can go with the flow and just go with the medicine of whatever I'm going through. And highly encourage you to do it too. And keep a good attitude about it, no matter where you be or what you be doing or how you be dealing with it. Is just keep a good attitude about it. In other words, don't think this comes to you as some kind of punishment. And if you do have those kind of thoughts, examine them thoroughly, man. Don't let those kind of thoughts take you there. That's programming of the worst sort. This is how and why we've been disconnected from ourselves as human beings. But at the same time, baby, we're far stronger than that. And nothing can really get us down unless we choose it to be that way. For example, if I needed to be on the other side for some reason, shoot, I'd have died the other day. And you'd be feeling strong energies working in the background. Well, now you got strong energies still working right here in front of your face. Right there coming out of your heart. Because what I reflect back to you is what comes from you. And what you reflect back to me is what comes from you too. You see, it's all of us together. We all have the power of creation within us. And we all go through all kinds of different and spectacular circumstances in order to convince ourselves of that, or deconvince ourselves of that, so we can be reconvinced of that. In other words, the only real sickness here is doubting yourself and letting others implant doubts into you that you haven't quite got a handle on yet, see? And that's essentially what I'm dealing here with this disease, and I know that, Whether you call it cancer or pneumonia or whatever else it might want to be called by, it's still the same thing. It's a little disconnecting us from our reality, from my own truth. Now, who knows what the sub-psychological reasons is that I go down into such stuff. Maybe I'm feeling sorry for myself. Maybe I needed the reassurance of all these people pitching for me. Maybe I was that shallow in myself for a while. We all have our weaker moments. Something brought this on that way. But one thing I'm sure of is it's bringing me back to life. And every time I've had an incident with death, it's always been transitional like that. It's always brought me back to life. And even were I to do what we call die here, I'd still be coming back to life, see, because that's what you do when you die. You go back to the so-called other side, where it's total, complete, unconditional love. And you remember it all. And you can live with yourself again. And you start to understand why you've been here and what you've been up to, see. We seek to do that process on this side of the life, this lifetime. And for a lot of others to do that too, so we can finally end these cycles of pain and suffering and unworthiness, unself-forgiveness, things like that. Get over it all and bring ourselves back to life. And this is what 2018 is all about. 2017 was just getting us lined up on the runway, babies. Getting our alignments in place so that we could take off in 2018. And that's exactly what we're doing. And you won't have to wait. That full moon tonight is going to bring it on. And from there on, man, you'll feel like you've been launched into a whole new world. Because you have. Because we're not accepting the old one anymore. You know, I'm just one little soldier in the army of love, so to speak. And I don't really consider myself a soldier or a fighter, but I do resist anything that doesn't go with the flow. And I'm starting to refine that flow to the point where it's about as perfect can be in the way that you see. You understand? Perfection is just growth. We're always growing. There is not the ultimate nirvana or perfection ever to be had. It's already created. It's what we're made of. See, so we're just returning to our natural state of being. So then what? We can have time to blossom out in the brightest of ways. That's what 2018 is all about. It's more than harvest. It's more than, the fall time. It is the time of the rising up of humanity. And I know we've been through a lot of BS, and there still is a lot of dark forces out there trying to pull us this way and that. But babies, it becomes self-correcting from here on out. So the main thing we got to do then is what? Go with the flow inside. Understand ourselves. Give ourselves the time in meditation, communication, thoughtful prayer, whatever you want to call it. Give yourself the time in nature. Reconnect with all of your natural source essences inside. Give yourself the time. We got all the time we need, and now is the time. So happy New Year to you all, baby. Don't ever think we've taken a fall. We're coming back, y'all, and we're not going down again. Finally, he says with a grin, what we've been waiting for, now that's in. Okay, so now you can really have it your way. And all of us too, man. And that doesn't mean, the dummies win. That means we all win together. Because nobody's that greedy and nobody's that needy, really. And when it comes right down to it, we're in it for each other. Examine yourself and you'll see. 2018 is going to be great, baby. Hang on. It's never too late. Love you so. Thanks for being here with me. Thanks for being here with us all in this here life. And thanks for helping out where you can. One another, man. Keep it up. You're setting a good example. This is the source, the solution. Okay? Peace on earth. Babe.